Do you know that way when you've went through your whole day and then something kind of happens towards the end of the day and then you realise you're really, really off and that you've been really, really off all day, but it takes something to happen for you to get that insight that the way you've been interpreting the day and everything that's happened in the day and all of the people you've interacted with has all been off and has all been skewed, and that you need to return to a position of sanity and peace. What happened to me there was in town, coming home from work. It's quite a long journey. It's freezing. Public transport is not only like unpleasant, but takes so long. And I got off in town to change bus. Then I decided, sack this, I'm going to go for a taxi. But obviously I wasn't the first person to have the bright idea to get a taxi, so I'm waiting around for the taxi, and the taxi pulls up, I get in, I'm like that to the guy, I'm going to Battlefield, and he was like, whereabouts in Battlefield? And I was like, at Cathkin Road, and he was like, oh, you mean Langside? Straight away I'm like, oh, this taxi driver thinks he's a bit of a fucking funny guy telling me where I live. So I'm like, right, cool. So then I'm like, mate, is your card machine working alright? Because obviously I'm thinking, well, sometimes you pay with a card and a taxi machine, and it's only once you get there, you find out the machine doesn't work, then you've got to go to the bank, all that drama, so I would rather just know up front if I can use the card. So I'm like, does your card machine work? And then he's like, if your card works, the card machine works, so shouldn't be a problem. It was the way he said it, but no, I mean, I felt like he was just being a cunt, right? Excuse my language. And I thought, there's been times where I've just went like, hey, driver, do you know what, mate? Just fucking stop, and I'll just go and give somebody else my custom and go out. But it was actually that cold. I was like, this guy could be an axe murderer. I'll take my chances. So, anyway, all the way home, I'm sitting there like that. This guy's a fucking joker. Know what I mean? Total wido. Who the fuck does this guy think he's talking to? And in my head, I'm playing how I'm going to deal with him at the other side once he gets wide about the card, or tries some funny shit, or makes a snidey comment. I'm even imagining that I might even physically end up fighting with this guy. I'm imagining staring at him. I'm imagining how it's all going to go down. I'm imagining the Facebook post that I'm going to compose telling everybody that I fucking battered a taxi driver, and pictures of my knuckles and all that. Do you know what I mean? And the taxi starts pulling up to the roundabout, and in my head I'm like, well, I tell him it's right here, or no, he's obviously such a fucking joker, he knows exactly where he's going. So anyway, he pulls in, and I get the card out, which I've been sitting flicking the whole time, you know what I mean, as I'm just obsessing over how it's all going to go down, planning this whole fucking assault, and I'm like, the guy pulls in, and I'm like, mate, do you want me just to go and get money out of the cash machine then? And he's like, oh, whatever suits you, it's no problem, pal. And I'm just like, oh my god, man. And then it just hits me. And then I'm just like, I have been in fight or flight mode since Saturday night, because that's when I sent my piece to my editor, waiting for it to get published. And waiting for it to get published, I go into this other fight or flight mode where I'm just ready to go ahead, and I'm just ready to defend myself, and didn't realise all day that I've still been in that state of hypervigilance, and so I've been interpreting everything as an attack in some way. I don't know if anybody out there experiences things like this, you know, where you actually become aware of the fact that a lot of the positions that you've taken on things are actually informed more by your own resentment towards certain people, towards certain things, but you try to kind of cloak it all in this wider communitarian concern, or you dress it up in a plethora of interesting issues that you frame really well, and generally you engage in the pretense, and it's a very deeply held pretense, that you're attachment to a certain issue and the thing that's propelling you into that issue is all above board and has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that you think some people are cunts. What do you think? Do you find that point of view is informing some of the positions that you take? Do you find yourself in ding-dongs with the same types of people all the time? And also another thing, the article once it got published was shared widely. People were very complimentary about it. Even people that didn't agree with all of it appreciated the way that it was framed and the way that I had thought about it. But it doesn't matter how many times people say nice things, and it doesn't matter how many nice things are said. I actually only go home thinking about the handful of people that I've seen discussing it online who aren't very complimentary, not just to me, but my writing in general. The people who say the horrible things, you know what I mean, or the unnecessary things. And that's the stuff that replays in my head, and that's the stuff I think about, and that's the stuff that I imagine is going on out there when I start creating my next thing. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I internalise a very small percentage of negative incidents, and then I reassign that experience to the whole of reality, and then I set about putting reality right when actually reality's fine, and I just need to get out the fucking way. How many of you people out there find that your resentment is a form of propulsion and inspiration, and that the people that you imagine in your mind, not the actual people as they exist, but the people that you think you don't like or disagree with, the way that you imagine them in your mind, how many of you are using that as your muse? How many are creatively inspired by negative feelings of inadequacy and resentment, and then come out into the world and try to pretend that it's something else that's motivating them? Just me? Aye, cool, no worries, take it easy.